People really feel that 5G internet service is the reason why you have coronavirus. Someone sent me a map and it showed 5G service, then it showed coronavirus outbreaks, and it looked almost the same. And you have these guys claiming to be doctors. But I actually had this one doctor named Dr. Khan. He's a medical doctor in Las Vegas who's dealing with coronavirus in the front lines. And when I mentioned that whole 5G thing, he said, that's a real insult to people like myself who are risking their lives to help people, that people bring up these ridiculous theories. Carrie Hilson, in a set of deleted tweets, and this is something that people have been bombarding me with. She felt that 5G cellular service somehow triggered the coronavirus, or has something to do.
Vlad, what if I told you, hey, Vlad, you just blinked, so that's why it's raining outside? That's how I feel about that.
So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's offensive.
It's offensive.
It's offensive to me.
Right. Like when you hear the whole 5G thing, what do you think?
Oh, man. My first thought is like, come on, y'all. Like, we really going to go there? But, I'm not mad at the liberties they're taking in terms of thought and doing a thought experiment and try to see if this really maps on to what we're seeing. That said, if you look at what 5G is, and when you look at what the coronavirus is doing, you may be able to map on, it started here and that's where the coronavirus started, and you try to show hotspots and that's where 5G is being implemented. But I don't think that there's a direct correlation in terms of that transmission occurring. But what do I know? I'm not well versed on it, but it's not going to really dictate my behavior or really occupy my mind space right now. I know human beings because as a human being, we always got to find fault and blame. Like when anything comes, the fear of the unknown makes you immediately want to associate fault and blame. That's how you get your normalcy back. That's how you feel like you have your coordinates. Oh, this is why this is happening. And then what we do is once we try to identify why it's happening, we exclude ourselves from being a part of that conversation or population. It's an age-old mechanism the way that works. Maybe it applies here that much, but I probably will go with traditional logic that, hey, man, it's a mutated virus. That's kind of how the game goes.
Well, your wife is a doctor.
Yeah.
So your wife knows more than both of us combined times 100.
Yeah, and that's why she's so fearful. She's so scared right now because she's like, this is different. This is a big one. This is an animal that we're dealing with.
Right. She's not disconnecting your 5G internet, right? When she got home.
Nah, man. It's so funny because those conspiracy theorists and what they say, in a vacuum, you can land and live anywhere in terms of what the conspiracy is. But when then you really apply it to the masses at large, you start to just say, man, come on. But I don't want to fully deny it because I haven't fully heard their side of this conversation, but it hasn't entered our home in much thought or conversation. Let's say that.
Well, I think the best comment I've heard about this was someone tweeted me and said, 5G causes the coronavirus and the earth is also flat, which is also caused by 5G.
Oh, they just put them all together, huh? While I got your attention, the earth is flat. I used to joke with that. And I like to joke with the earth is flat because people really get upset. I'm like, damn, how easy is it to trigger you? I got other ones too. How about there weren't dinosaurs? Oh, like people really get upset. And I say it and I still will say it. And people were like, you went to Columbia. How dumb are you? And I was like, that doesn't take away my degree. It doesn't take away my diploma. And I still will say it. Do I believe it? No. But you got riled up. It's kind of interesting to me.
Well, Kyrie Irving said that the earth was flat at one point.
He did. I don't know if he was trolling, playing, or he was dead serious. It's just a funny experiment to almost run on people who say that they're so smart and so controlled and they know where to direct their intelligence. And you could totally throw them off by just saying the earth is flat. Like instead of just discounting something that you know is absurd, you can't. You have to engage, which makes me think, do you really believe that the earth is round if I got you off your square so damn fast by saying the opposite? It's just crazy to me that people even get consumed in that.
Well, sports contracts are very different from sport to sport. NBA contracts, I believe, are guaranteed no matter what, whereas in football, it's not. Is that correct?
Except what's going on right now, they're calling it the disaster clause in the NBA, where there's a way that they can get some of that money back if they don't have games because of pandemic, epidemic, and natural disaster.
So there's an actual clause in people's contract that said that if there's something like this, because for example, right, insurance companies aren't paying out at all. Like I'm hearing of, like the owner of Per Se and French Laundry, these really high-end restaurants, is trying to sue Lloyd's of London, basically saying, hey, we have this huge insurance policy. We can't work. You have to pay us. And the insurance companies are saying, well, we're covered for very specific things, and pandemics is not one of those because there hasn't been one in over 100 years. But are you telling me that the sports companies, that the teams were so forward thinking that there's actual stuff in there that says if there's something like a pandemic, we don't have to pay you?
Yeah, that's a real issue with the NBA contracts. I can't speak to the NFL contracts. One, I'm retired. Two, it's not in season, and I haven't heard any reports of NFL contracts stating that. But the NBA certainly, and I think it was 9 players, and most of them were under Clutch Sports, LeBron James and Rich Paul's agency, that actually got 90% of their money before April 1st. And the rest of the league, the other 441 players out of 450, they still are owed a lot of money. And the NBA and the NBA PA are going to have to discuss this because this certainly falls under that clause, which can certainly impact what they're going to get financially. But I heard that automobile insurance policies are actually up to 15%, I've heard, are saying, look, you're not driving your car as much. You're using it not for work anymore, but just for essential purposes in your personal life. I've heard that some automobile insurance carriers are actually giving money back.
Yeah, I mean, except ours yet. But
yeah, right. Same here.